Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Psycho Frontier in Depth. Today we'll be looking at the Manticore. The Manticore is an upgrade from Osiris for the Assault Rifle category. For comparison's sake, I'll be comparing this to the AR-55 to show you how they differ, because they have very similar stats. And I'll also be doing the baseline comparison for DPS and time to kill for uncommon armor, because that is the baseline for green tier weapons, since they deal 17 penetration and uncommon or green armor has 17 armor, so you'll be dealing the base damage of the weapon. Okay, so moving into the general stats, this weapon comes from Osiris and has a faction level requirement of 5. This weapon will also run you 9,000 camera. To put that in perspective, that is the price of a bolt action rifle with a 2x scope on it. As I said earlier, it has a penetration value of 17, a direct damage value of 12, a reload time of 3.35 seconds, and a mag size of 24. This weapon has a projectile speed of 24,000 or 240 meters per second. It also has a movement speed multiplier of 0.9 or 90% of your movement speed, and a headshot multiplier of 1.7, where you'll be dealing 70% extra damage if you deal a headshot, which is the same multiplier as the AR-55. This weapon has a fall-off start of 30 meters and a fall-off end of 60 meters, meaning you'll start losing damage at 30 meters until you get to 60 meters where that damage fall-off finally stops. And at that 60 meters, you'll be dealing 75% of your total damage, which, for those of you wondering, is 9 damage before armor calculation is taken into account. Moving into the more detailed stats, we have an RPM of 500 rounds per minute, a DPS against green armor or uncommon of 100, a time to empty the mag of 2.76 seconds, and your average time to kill against green armor is going to be about 0.96 seconds. And your shots to kill against said armor with no converter is 9 shots to kill. To the body and to the head, it will be 5, with the time to kill on the head of 0.48 seconds. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're moving to shots to kill for the common armor, and then we're going to move back up to rare because I've already talked about green armor. So for common armor, or white armor, it is going to take you 8 shots to kill to the body, or 5 shots to kill the head with no converter. Rare or blue armor, we have a shots to the body to kill is 10, and your shots to the head to kill will be 6. Against epic armor, it will take you 11 shots to kill, or to the head, it will take you 7. And for exotic armor, this doesn't change. Looking at the time to kill between the Manticore and the AR-55 auto rifle, it's pretty tight neck, until weirdly enough you get to epic armor, and the Manticore has a slower time to kill than the AR-55 auto rifle, and I assume that's because of fire rate. For those of you who want to see the stats on the AR-55 more in depth, it'll be in the top right here. Talking more about it, the AR-55 only has 46 more rounds per minute than the Manticore, so it is faster firing, but it also has less pen. If we're looking and comparing the Manticore to the AR-55 in terms of headshots, the AR-55 competes pretty hard and pretty well, because as long as you're hitting headshots, they pretty much have the same shots to kill to the head, with only some armors requiring the AR-55 to get one more headshot. When it comes to shots to the body between the two, the Manticore will always be the winner because it takes, on average, 1 to 2 shots less depending on the armor type to kill. When we're talking about build, I'm going to talk about the converter first because it's kind of a mixed bag. It jumps around a lot depending on the armor type the enemy combatant is wearing, but I would recommend a minimum of rare or epic for this weapon because depending on armor type, it'll help you reduce your shots to kill by 1. Something to note is that on epic shields, as long as you have a rare converter on it, it will take you 1 less headshot to kill against epic armor. That does not change the shots to kill on exotic armor, however. Moving back into the build, since you talked about the converter, I'll talk about the magazine next, because this thing can put people away in under half its mag, or up to half its mag most of the time. That being said, I would rather reload this thing faster, so I would recommend the medium epic quick draw mag. For the optic, and I can't recommend this enough, is a 2x scope, and the reason for that is this weapon has really good fire rate that's good at dealing with long range targets because it's slower firing than normal assault rifles in some games you may have played. If you're planning on using this weapon up close and don't want to get into long range engagements, I don't recommend putting a optic on this thing at all. It has a really good iron sights that look like a holographic, to be honest with you, just a little bit smaller, and it doesn't obstruct your vision. But if you want to put a close range optic, I'd recommend the holographic sight. And if you're feeling ballsy and you want a nice zoom option, you can do the 2 to 4 times scope. For the muzzle, you can do a medium suppressor, or you can reduce the recoil with the thing. Either one's good. If you're going to use this thing at long ranges, I recommend having it low recoil. If you're close range, suppressor is probably a good option. For the stock, I recommend the ultralight stock. It reduces your equip time and your aim down sight time. For the foregrip, other than finding one in raid, the only one you can craft is the tactical foregrip, which actually reduces your time to aim on sight, and I actually recommend it. As always, I recommend that you take a tactical flashlight with you, and we already talked about the converter, but if you want to have monster damage, then slap on the creature damage mod and have at it. My thoughts and recommendations on this weapon are that you should use this thing at ranges because of the fire rate being so as low as it is. You can kill people up close, but high firing weapons and shotguns will beat you out more than likely at close range. Be careful out there, Prospector. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and liking the video. 80% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so sub and help me keep making content like this, and at the top right I'll have a link to the playlist for weapons I've done so far. And if you want, join the Discord, it's in the link below.